Hey everyone, welcome to SFDC Talk. So in the previous video, we learned about some of the basic methods of a set, and we learned that a set is an unordered collection of elements that do not contain any duplicates, right? And we learned about how can we create a set, how can we add and remove elements from the set, and how can we check if an element is present inside a set or not, okay? So in this particular video, we are mainly going to focus on some other advanced methods. So the first method is clear method. So clear method is used to remove all the elements from a set, okay? So let's see, I have a set like this. So I'm just going to copy this statement. And I have a set which is having 4 elements, 10, 20, 30, and 40. So if you can see 10, 20, 30, and 40. And I want to remove this set. Or I can say I want to clear all the elements inside the set. So I can simply do numbers.clear. And I can see that the set is now empty. So let me execute this code. And if you see, initially I was having 4 elements, 10, 20, 30, 40. Then I cleared my set and now my set is empty. So a clear method is used to remove all the elements from my set. Now let's learn about isEmpty method. So isEmpty method is going to check whether my set is empty or not. Let me just copy and paste this whole code again. And here I can check if my set is empty or not. So let me check that. Is my set empty? Okay. And I can simply do numbers.isEmpty. Okay, and then I can clear all the elements of my set, and I can again check that is my set empty, and using numbers.isEmpty. So using this isEmpty method, it will return me either true or false based on the fact that if my set is empty or not. So if you remember, initially I was having 4 elements inside my set, so this should return me false, and then my set is empty, so this should return me true. Let me execute this code and let's see what happens. So you can see that initially I checked, is my set empty? It is coming as false because initially I was having 4 elements inside my set, right? Then I cleared my set and then I'm again checking, is my set empty? And it is coming as true. So isEmpty is going to return me true or false based on the fact if my set is empty or not. Now let's see size method. So size method is going to give me the size of my set, okay? So let me use the same set again and let me just debug this set again, because it makes things more clear. I'm going to debug this set and then we can check. So instead of is my set empty, I'm just going to write size of the set, okay? And let's see. So instead of is empty, I'm going to use size here and yeah, this should work. So if you see, I was having 4 elements inside my set. So the elements are 10, 20, 30, and 40. And initially the size of the set was 4 because I'm having 4 elements, and then I cleared my set. So the size of the set is 0 because I'm having 0 elements. So size function or size method is basically going to tell me that how many elements are present inside my set, okay? The next method is containsAll method. So containsAll method is going to tell me whether I'm having a list or a set which is present in a particular set, okay? So it is going to check the whole list or set as a part of another set, okay? Let's see how. So this is my initial set, which is 10, 20, 30, 40. So it is having 4 elements, as you know, 10, 20, 30, and 40. Now I want to see that if my list is present inside my set or not. So let's say I'm having another list here. So I'm just going to create a list of integer, and let's say numbers list is equal to new list of integer. And this list is going to have elements like 10 and 20. So let's say this is having 2 elements, okay? So I can say system.debug list is present inside the set, okay? So this is going to give me true or false, whether the list is present inside a set or not, okay? So what I can do, I can simply check it by using numbers.containsAll numbers list, okay? So what I'm doing here, I'm checking that if all the elements that are a part of my number list is present in my set or not. So if you can see, my numbers list is having 2 elements, 10 and 20, and both these elements are present inside my set, right? So this containsAll is going to give me true here because both the elements are present inside my set. Let me just verify this once. So I'm going to display the list as well. So let me just make it more clear. So in this case, I'm going to say that this is my set and this is my list, okay? and this is nothing but numbers list. And then I'm checking if my list is present inside the set or not. So let me execute this code and let's see. So if you see, the set is nothing but 10, 20, 30, 40. The list is nothing but 10 and 20. Okay. And the list is present inside the set, it is coming as true. So this means that all the elements that are present inside the list are a part of the set, because 10 and 20 are present inside the list and they are part of set as well. So let me just make it more clear. And this is how it works. Let's say I have one more element here, which is 100. Okay. So 100 is not a part of the set. Now let's see what happens. So if I execute this code, so now you can see my set is having elements 10, 20, 30, and 40. My list is having elements 10, 20, and 100. And list is present inside the set, it is coming as false. This is because all the elements that are present inside my list is not present in my set. So each and every element of my list is not present inside a set. That is why the containsAll is going to return me false. So containsAll basically check if all the elements of one list or a set is present inside the another set. Okay. This can be a list as well. This can be a set as well. And that's how it works. Now let's talk about another method which is known as retainAll. So retainAll basically retains some of the elements inside the set and it removes all the other elements. Okay. So let me just use the same set again. So this is my set. Okay. And now I want to say that out of these 10, 20, 30, and 40, I want to retain only 20 and 30. Okay. So what can I do? I can either create a list or a set, both are fine. So in the previous method, I used the list. So this time I'm going to create a set. So let's say I created another set here. So set of integers, numbers to retain is equal to new set of integer. Okay. And I'm going to say that I want to retain 20 and 30. Okay. That's it. So now I can do numbers dot retain all numbers to retain. And then I can also display the again numbers. Okay. So this was my initial set, and this is my final set, and this is my numbers to retain. So I can say that my numbers to retain set. Okay. Now let's see what happens. So if you see, in my initial set, I was having 4 elements, 10, 20, 30, and 40. And numbers to retain should have numbers to retain. So this is a little mistake. Let me just execute this code once again. Yeah, now let's see. So initially, I was having 4 elements inside the initial set, 10, 20, 30, and 40, which is particularly fine. Now I created another set, which is the numbers to retain set, and I'm saying that I want to retain only 20 and 30 inside my set and just remove all the other elements. Okay. Then I called my retainAll function on my bigger set, which is the number set, and I'm specifying that these are the numbers that you want to retain inside my number set. Okay. So the final set is nothing but all the numbers that I wanted to retain. So if you see, now I'm only having 20 and 30 inside my number set. So I have displayed number set here. That's why it is having only 20 and 30. In case I have an element which is not a part of the number set. So let's say I want to retain 100 as well. Now let's see what happens. Okay. So I'm just going to execute this code and let's see. So if you see, the initial set were having 4 elements, 10, 20, 30, and 40. I specified that I want to retain 20, 30, and 100 as a part of my set. But 100 is not a part of this set, right? So in the final set, I'm only having 20 and 30, which is a part of the set. Okay. So I'm only having 20 and 30 here because only 20 and 30 are a part of the initial set and they are retained. 100 is not a part of the set, so it is not retained. So this is how retainAll works. It basically retains the elements that you want to retain as a part of another set that you are passing inside the parameter, and all the other elements are automatically removed. You can have a set here and you can have a list as well. For example, instead of a set, I can say this is a list, so this is also fine. Okay. You can either use a list or a set. Let me execute this code. And if you see, I'm again having the same output. So it doesn't matter if this is a set or a list, or you can pass either a set here or a list of integers, and it is only going to retain the elements which are matching in my initial set. Okay. So this is how retainAll works. So yeah, that's all for this tutorial, everyone. I hope you liked it. Let me know your feedback in the comments down below. And in the next video, we are going to learn about how can we convert a list to a set and how can we convert a set to a list as well. So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, have a good day. Bye-bye.